When you look at the landscape of where the auto industry is today, it is littered with upstarts. These folks who truly believe that that theirs is the next model that will take over, that they have a better distribution system, perhaps, that they will have more range. In some cases, they're backed by enormous money, capital that's coming out of the markets. You must look at this, given your experience at some major automakers, many which we're going to talk about here soon, that this is a revolutionary time for the auto industry, perhaps propelled, if you will, by new propulsion, and that's what's making this all seem very doable for those startup companies. Give me your view on the auto industry today, given your track record, your long track record in it.
Well, first of all, the auto industry is one of the most underestimated industries in the world in terms of complexity and cost, in terms of, what is the price of entry? And it's, minimum $1 billion just to get anything done. So with that said, though, I think something happened in 2020 as COVID came out, and there was a multiple of factors. One was we had seen, despite doomsday scenario every year for Tesla, they did quite well and accelerated, and they became leaders in their segment by far. We saw people starting to be more interested in sustainability and a clean planet, and starting to buy more sustainable products. We saw people like myself, for example, buying for the first time a pair of shoes online, which I probably would have sworn I would never have done, but I did it just because you're sitting at home in COVID. So you saw that whole transition to this digital environment, new technology, people getting out of their old habits. And there was then that final moment, which for maybe the most important reason for this march of all these new EV startups, and that was, quite frankly, cash. Wall Street had decided at one point in 2020 and coming in 2021 that they were believing in EVs are coming and they're coming faster than they originally thought. And I think there was also a belief that the real disruptors in this segment was not going to come from traditional automotive industry because they've shown they were too slow. And for good reasons. I mean, they have amazing systems that have spent 50 years perfecting, and it's not easy to get out of those and change everything around. So I think there was all this culmination of all these factors. And of course, not everybody will survive, and this industry is much harder than people think. And the interesting thing, maybe the most interesting thing of this industry and why it's so difficult, and we have seen it even with some of the biggest car companies in the world. First of all, it doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter how good your distribution system is. It doesn't matter how good your design is. It doesn't matter how long range you have. It only matters if enough of those components are interesting enough for the consumer to want your product. It doesn't matter who you are, how big you are. And we have seen it again and again that even large car makers can make a flop where no consumer want to buy it, even if they spend hundreds of millions of dollars of advertising. And so I think that's kind of what's exciting about this industry. And now, of course, there's another thing that got thrown in there, and that is electrification and the competition from the startups. And that's sort of put this turmoil in the automotive industry. And I expect when you look back in 5 or 10 years, you're going to see this moment as the most important moment ever for the automotive industry since we went from the horse to the car, to the gasoline engine. And this is that next big step that is happening right now. And I would also say, I think if you aren't in right now and already involved, it's probably too late, because I think the moment was 2020 and 2021.